the regret that came too late. Until this morning. I thought I had my life perfectly mapped out. At 29, I was just 3 months away from marrying the love of my life, Clara. We had spent 5 beautiful years together, building dreams and making plans for our future. She was everything I had ever wanted, brilliant, stunning, and driven. But in the span of a single evening, everything shattered. That morning had started like any other. I woke up early, made breakfast for Clara, and kissed her goodbye as she left for work. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. But when she returned that evening, something was different. She was distant, unusually quiet, and barely met my gaze. Sensing something was wrong, I asked her about it. That's when she dropped the words that would change everything. "We need to talk." Her voice was unsteady, her hands fidgeting in her lap. "I don't think we're right for each other anymore." I felt the ground shift beneath me. "What? Clara, what are you talking about? We're getting married in 3 months. She hesitated, then finally admitted the painful truth. For months, her colleagues, especially her so-called best friend Rachel, had been planting doubts in her mind. They told her I wasn't ambitious enough, that I didn't make enough money, that she deserved someone better. And eventually, after hearing it over and over, she started believing it. Tears rolled down her face as she whispered, "I'm sorry. I just don't think this is going to work." Just like that, 5 years of love, trust, and plans were wiped away. I tried to reason with her, reminding her of everything we had built together, but she wouldn't budge. "It's not you," she kept repeating. "I just need more." And then she left, saying she needed space. I sat on the couch, staring at the engagement ring she had carelessly tossed onto the coffee table as if it meant nothing. Pain flooded through me, but beneath that pain, there was something else. Anger. How could she throw away everything we had over the opinions of her colleagues? And who the hell was Rachel to manipulate her like this? I needed answers. That's when I remembered something Clara had once mentioned offhand. She used the same password for everything. "It's just easier," she had laughed when I warned her about online security. Fueled by heartbreak and desperation, I opened my laptop, went her email, and typed in her usual password, Claro3. To my surprise, it worked. At first, I wasn't sure what I was even looking for. But as I scrolled through her inbox, the truth started to unfold before my eyes. There they were, conversations between Clara, Rachel, and another colleague, Mark. It felt like I had stumbled into the plot of a twisted soap opera. Rachel's emails were the worst. She had been feeding Clara a relentless stream of negativity about me. "He's holding you back. You're way out of his league. You deserve someone like Mark, someone who can actually keep up with you." And the most infuriating one of all, Rachel had even encouraged Clara to test the waters with Mark to see if there was any chemistry. My stomach twisted in disgust. Rachel wasn't just a friend. She had been acting like some toxic life coach, and she was terrible at it. Then I found the messages between Clara and Mark. They weren't full-blown love letters, but they were flirtatious enough to make my blood boil. Mark showered her with excessive compliments. "You're the smartest person in the room, and you're the most beautiful woman I've ever met." And Clara? She responded with laughing emojis and playful comments like, "You're too much." It wasn't an affair yet, but it was clear they were testing the boundaries. And the worst part? Clara had saved all these messages like they were something to be proud of, but the real jackpot was their group chat. Clara, Rachel, and Mark had spent hours mocking their managers, calling them incompetent and clueless. My personal favorite? They had even joked about starting a betting pool on which manager would get fired first. It was ridiculous. But more than that, it was reckless. If their bosses ever saw these messages, their careers would be over. The perfect revenge. As I scrolled through their conversations, an idea started to take shape in my mind. Clara had thrown me aside because Rachel had convinced her I wasn't good enough. But I wasn't going to let them walk away without consequences. I was going to show them exactly what I was capable of. Without hesitation, I gathered every incriminating message. Rachel's relentless manipulation, Clara and Mark's flirtations, and the disrespectful comments about their managers. I compiled everything into a neatly organized folder, ensuring I had all the evidence I needed. Next, I accessed Clara's work account and checked her calendar. Perfect. There was a company-wide virtual meeting scheduled for that afternoon. The ideal moment to strike. But before I made my move, I needed to make sure neither Clara nor Rachel suspected a thing. I sent Clara a carefully crafted message, pretending to be shattered by our breakup. I can't believe this is happening. I really thought we were forever. Her response was as cold and impersonal as I expected. I'm sorry, but this is for the best. I roll my eyes and type back, I just need some time to process. Then, without another thought, I muted her notifications and got to work. For the next few hours, I executed my plan with precision. I created a fake email account, uploaded all the messages to a shared drive, and drafted an anonymous email address to the CEO. The subject line was simple yet powerful. A matter of company integrity. I scheduled the email to send right in the middle of the virtual meeting, ensuring it would have maximum impact. The following morning, after Clara left for work, I sat on the couch, staring at the empty space where her belongings used to be. She had returned the night before, packed up her things in silence, and left without saying a word. I didn't stop her. I didn't have to. She had already made her choice. Now it was time for me to make mine. I opened my laptop and reviewed the email one last time. The subject line remained unchanged. A matter of company integrity. Attached were the damning screenshots. Clara's betrayal, Rachel's scheming, and Mark's unprofessional behavior. I had already set the email to go out at exactly 10 a.m., right when the meeting was in full swing. Before hitting send, I texted my best friend Ethan, who also worked at the company. Something big is about to go down. Keep me posted. At exactly 10 a.m., my phone buzzed with a message from Ethan. Dude, what the hell did you do? The CEO just got an email with some insane screenshots. I smirked. Just wait. Over the next hour, Ethan provided a play-by-play of the chaos unfolding in the meeting. The CEO had opened the email during the call, his face darkening with every passing second. Then, in a controlled but furious voice, he addressed the entire company. Is this how you represent us? He demanded. Manipulating each other? Flirting during work hours? Mocking your own managers? This is completely unacceptable. Ethan's text came in rapid fire. Clara looks like she's about to pass out. Rachel's desperately trying to pin everything on Mark. Mark looks like a deer in headlights. This is the best meeting I've ever been in. By the end of the meeting, the CEO had made his decision. Clara was terminated on the spot for violating company policies. Rachel was demoted and placed on probation for fostering a toxic work environment. And Mark? He resigned before he could officially be fired, mumbling something about pursuing other opportunities. As the dust settled, Ethan sent me one last message. You're a legend. This is going down in company history. I leaned back, letting a satisfied grin spread across my face. They had underestimated me. Now they knew better. The perfect payback. I couldn't help but chuckle as I set my phone down. Phase 1 of my revenge had gone off flawlessly. Now it was time for Phase 2. When Clara walked to the door that afternoon, she looked wrecked, her face pale, eyes swollen from crying. She stepped into the living room where I sat, casually scrolling through my phone as if nothing had happened. Did you do this? She demanded, her voice unsteady. I glanced up at her, feigning confusion. Do what? She tossed her phone onto the coffee table. The screen displayed the leaked messages in all their disgraceful glory. Did you leak these? I shrugged, keeping my expression neutral. Why would I do that? I'm just a guy you said wasn't in your league, remember? Clara's jaw tightened as she glared at me. You did this. I know you did. I leaned back on the couch, smirking. Then prove it. She opened her mouth but hesitated. She knew she had no proof, and even if she did, she had much bigger problems on her plate. That evening, my phone buzzed again. It was Clara. Her voice trembled as she spoke. I'm sorry, she said. I made a mistake. Can we talk? I let a pause linger before replying. Sure. Come over. When she arrived, I sat her down and handed her a cup of tea. She looked almost hopeful, as if she thought I would forgive her. That's when I decided to drop the final bombshell. I leaked the messages. I said, my voice cool and unwavering. Her eyes widened in shock. You what? I leaned in, flashing a satisfied grin. Yep, it was me. I got into your account, exposed everything, and sat back to watch the chaos unfold. And let me tell you, it was worth every second. Clara sat there, frozen in stunned silence. But I wasn't done. Oh, and by the way, you left some of your stuff here yesterday. I added, nodding toward a box near the door. I packed it up while you were at work. Don't worry. I didn't throw anything out. I'm not a monster. Just a guy who doesn't forget when he's been screwed over. Her mouth open and closed, struggling to find words. Finally, she managed to whisper, Why? Why would you do this? I crossed my arms and tilted my head. Why did you dump me just because Rachel said I wasn't good enough? Why did you flirt with Mark behind my back? Why did you trash talk your managers like some high school mean girl? You made your choices, Clara. Now you're facing the consequences. Tears welled up in her eyes again, but this time I felt nothing. You ruined my life, she choked out. I laughed. Actually laughed. No, Clara, you ruined your own life. I just gave it a little push. Before she could respond, I grabbed the box and handed it to her. Oh, and one more thing, I said, pulling out an envelope and placing it on top. She frowned, opening it. Inside was a printed copy of the leaked messages, neatly stapled together. Consider it a souvenir, I said with a smirk. Something to remember me by. Clara stared at me like I was a stranger, like she no longer recognized the man in front of her. And maybe she was right. The guy she had walked out on, the one who would have done anything for her, was gone, and I wasn't sorry. After she left, I poured myself a drink, letting the satisfaction settle in. Sure, what I had done might not have been the most ethical thing in the world, maybe even a little ruthless, but I had no regrets. Clara, Rachel, and Mark had chosen to play games with the wrong person, and now they were paying the price. A few days later, I received a text from Ethan. Dude, you're a legend. People are still talking about what happened. Clara's scrambling to find a new job. Rachel's walking on thin ice. And Mark's LinkedIn says he's taking a break to focus on personal growth. LOL. I chuckled and typed back. Sounds like everyone got exactly what they deserved. As for me, I moved on. I started dating again and met someone who truly valued me for who I was. No drama. No manipulation, just two people enjoying each other's company. Who would have thought? Looking back, I don't regret a single thing. Clara, Rachel, and Mark set the fire. I just handed them the match. Sometimes, life isn't about turning the other cheek. Sometimes, the best way to deal with betrayal is with perfectly timed email and a little bit of well-placed sarcasm.